Yeah, welcome again. So thanks for joining us tonight. This is actually I was going to say our 22nd True North Caricature Carving Zoom call. So this has been really rewarding, and John, Paul, and I have really enjoyed it, and I hope everybody's getting something out of it as well. We've had a number of new people join us since last time, which is nice. And so I thought it would be really good if we just went around the table tonight and just reintroduced ourselves. Nothing lengthy, just sort of, I'm Mark Sheridan, and I'm from Kingston, Ontario, and I've been carving for all my life, and probably caricature carving for 15 years. And so why don't we just go around the table? Murray, I see you next up on my screen.
Almost a ditto for me, Murray Lincoln in Peterborough, Ontario, and involved heavily in wood carving for a long, long time. But it's really been a joy to be a part of Ontario Wood Carve Association. So I've learned so much through this video because, unlike most of the guys here, I really watch it about 4 times before you see it again.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I take out the snorts and coughs, and while I'm speaking, just if you could mind to mute your microphone until you're ready to speak, because we get some really weird feedback from your microphone, your coughs, your snorts, your dog, whatever.
Okay.
Thank you.
John Paul?
Oh yeah, my name is John Paul Andre. I'm from, I live in Spring Hill, Nova Scotia right now. And I've been carving for like 45 years.
Thanks. Craig, I see you up next.
Fred. This is Fred Georgiadis. I carve with the Kingston Carving Group at the Senior Center. I've been attempting to carve for about 8 years now. Having fun.
Good. Kevin?
Kevin Reed from Pickering, and I carve with Pickering Wood Carvers, and I've been carving for, I don't know, I guess 30 years, kind of off and on, mostly by myself though.
Thanks. Richard?
Richard Cook from London. I carve with a number of seniors at the Kiwanis Senior Center. I've been attempting to make toothpicks for about 10 years now, I guess.
And Dave, you've joined. Why don't you introduce yourself, Dave Wilson?
Okay, yeah, I'm been carving for about 35 years. I carved in Copetown and the Ancaster Senior Center, and I'm enjoying this deal here very much.
Good. And Harvey, I see you up next on my screen.
I'm from Petrolia, and I carving for 4 years, and I go to Triple C Carvers in Sarnia.
Thank you. Mike Hall? Mike, are you there?
Yeah, I carve along with Dave Wilson out at the Copetown Carvers there, and I've been carving for about 2 years, and been retired 2 years, so
Nice.
that's when I started carving.
Thank you. Daniel?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Daniel Sloan from Grand Bend, Ontario, and I've been carving for about 45 years or so, on and off, working with wood and carving. So, and I really enjoy this this organization. Got some great things going on.
Good. Thanks, Dan. Sue, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Sue McCollum. I'm in Stittsville, Ontario, which is just west of Ottawa. So I carve with the Outaouais Carvers group. We have a few people who are part of TNCC from the Ottawa group. And I've been carving for about 10 years or so, on and off, a little bit off, because when I was working, I traveled a lot by air, and there's no way for carving tools on carry on. So, yeah.
You probably have some good stories about that we'll want to hear later.
Oh yeah, yeah, especially around the 9/11 time. Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
I guess. That's
Yeah.
good. Okay, thanks, Sue.
Thank you.
Roger, I see you've popped on there.
Yep, I'm I'm carving with the Kingston Senior Center. I've been carving for about 4 years.
Good, thanks. Carol, welcome to the group.
Thank you so much. I am from the true north. I'm from Kenora, Ontario,
Nice.
which is very close to the Ontario-Manitoba border,
Very
about
nice.
an hour and a half from Winnipeg. I've been woodworking for probably about 10 years, power carving and turning, and only hand carving for about a couple of years.
Well, I hope you enjoy this.
I'm sure I'm going to love it.
Great. Lloyd, do you want to introduce yourself again?
Sure. I'm Lloyd Thomas. I'm carved with the Pickering Wood Carvers, and pretty soon the Brooklyn Wood Carvers will be back carving again. I carve down in my basement. Zena keeps me company here.
Oh, very good. Yeah, inspiration. Peter, you want to introduce yourself again?
Yeah, I'm Peter Finley from Kitchener, Ontario. I've been carving since I was probably 10 years old. That's about 70 years ago. I do a very wide variety of carvings. I do a lot of woodworking. My career was in woodworking. I taught at Conestoga College for 20 years in the woodworking, mostly in the theory courses with product design and so on. So I've really enjoyed these sessions. They've been really informative. I have yet to do a really good caricature carving, but I'm hoping to try the boot this month.
Good, good. Thanks, Peter. Bob, do you want to say hello?
I'm from Ottawa, the Outaouais Carving Club. I've been carving for maybe 7 years.
And Wayne, I see you there.
Yep, Wayne Smith. I live in Nova Scotia. Been carving for about 15 years. This has been a godsend for me. Matter of fact, I was telling somebody the other day, this is the best thing that ever come out of COVID was this Zoom meetings here.
Good.
Yep.
And for those who haven't seen Wayne's YouTube on plaid shirts yet, he's become a little bit of a rock star in the carving world here.
Yeah, you're going to be looking for your commission, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Craig, do you want to say hello?
Yeah, I've been carving about 4.5 years now, and I really like what we've done so far. I'm learning a lot because this is what I belong to the Pickering Club with Lloyd and Kevin, and actually Kevin's been teaching me a little bit about chip carving, which really has helped me in my caricature carving.
Very good. Very good. Thanks. Eric, do you want to say hello?
Eric Haber. I'm from Stittsville, and like Bob and Sue, I'm with the Outaouais Wood Carvers. I've been with the group 6-7 years, I guess, but I started carving when I was a teenager in the mid to late 50s. I was carving all kinds of little animals, birds, fish, and what have you, in a relatively simple manner. But I wish I'd remembered to bring that little book. It was a 1954 book, black and white, with all of the patterns and stuff in for all of the different critters. And that was really great. I must say a little story though. I went to St. Joseph's school, and we had a woodworking teacher there, and he needed to pass some sort of a certificate or test in carving, for instance. So he wanted to buy one of my little wooden dogs that I had, which he did, I think, for $2 to get his certificate. Anyway, I carved a bunch of stuff at that time as a teenager. In the 80s, I was doing some wood turning, and then before I joined the Outaouais Wood Carvers, I started whittling hiking staffs. That sort of got me back into using a knife again. And then being with the Outaouais Wood Carvers, it's been a good learning experience to get into real carving and participating with all kinds of activities.
Very
Thanks.
good. That's great. Curtis, could you say hello?
Hello, everybody. This is Firdaus Hirani. I've been whittling since 2 years. And I've been enjoying a lot. I've from this meeting and often email Mark with questions, and he responds right away. So that's pretty good.
Great. Now, there's a gentleman here and his first name is iPad and his last name is Two.
That'd be me. Sorry. My name is Wayne Aerosmith. I'm from Quispamsis, New Brunswick, and I've been carving about 30 years.
Great.
And I belong to the KV Wood Carving Club in Quispamsis.
Very good. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
East Coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you good. Serge wants to say hi, I hope. You're just on mute, Serge. You're just on mute, Serge.
Oh, that's unusual, my wife would say. So Serge de
I agree.
I'm from Chester. I'm from Chester, Vegas, also known as Chesterville, about 50 minutes from Ottawa. I've been part of the Oodway Wood Carvers since 2004. I haven't carved for a couple years, but I've been learning a lot to get back wood after an injury in my hand. So I've been wanting to I haven't finished anything in 2 years. I've tried it, but I just haven't done it. So anyways, good seeing you.
Very good. Mike, do you want to say hello?
Yeah, you might wonder why I look a little strange today. Is because I just got back from Toronto where someone was carving on my nose. I was a surgeon. I had some nose cancer there, so but it's all turned out well, and I'm just back home tonight actually. So happy to be here. So I've been carving about 30 years. I've been teaching carving about 20 or so, and I'm with the Thunder Bay Carvers and another group a little out of town, Kakabeka Falls group, where we have another dozen or so carvers there. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is that Harvey next? It just says iPad. I don't think it's Harvey. I've got the name wrong. Sorry. The one that says iPad. That's you.
Is that Lee Baldwin by chance?
No,
sorry.
You're just on mute though. You're just on mute right now. Well, we'll let you sort that out. It only says iPad. We'll let you sort that out. I see Lee on the screen. Lee, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Lee Baldwin. I've been carving for, I think, almost 3 years now. And I've been part of the Zoom meetings for, I think, maybe over a year and a half now. So, and I like caricature carving, and that's all I've ever actually really done. So
very good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lee. David, do you want to say hello?
Sure. David Laux. I'm a member of the Buckhorn Carvers. I live in Bridgenorth, Ontario. Been carving about 27 years, and I teach carving as well.
Very good. Thanks, Dave. Mark, do you want to say hello?
Hi, everyone. I'm Mark Stobart. I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba. I've been carving for since about 2016. I got into it after a bad car accident and was trying to get away from screens. So I just kind of picked up a knife and a block of wood and fell in love. So thanks so much for having me.
Very good. Larry, how are you tonight?
Good. I'm doing well. I've been carving for about 12 years now. 11 and a half probably, and I've always been into cartooning. I live over by Aurelia, by Barrie, Ontario. And anyway, I've been doing character carvings of every different type and wood spirits and that, and I'm working sort of on trying to switch over to a bit of female character carving, which is kind of tricky. I'm finding it's been pushing my boundaries many times, but I thank Mark for showing us these things with the wrinkles and everything else, because you look at a carving and it looks like a block of wood and stiff in that, but once you put the wrinkles on there, it totally changes it to a like a live looking real carving. So I'm appreciating all the things I've been learning on here on the Zoom meetings, and you guys, I really appreciate it.
Good. Thanks, Larry.
You're welcome.
David, you're right in the middle of chewing here, but I'll get you to say hello.
Yeah, I'm in St. Thomas, and I carve at the London Wood Shop where John Paul started. I started the group, and been trying to learn from him. I started this, oh gosh, I think 13 years ago. Tried a couple of things, and then I stopped until the pandemic started. Then wanted something to do. Well, I thought I was going to be off work for a while, and I started doing that, and have been carving at the club for a year and a little bit. So I'm new, but I'm new at it. I'm trying to work at it, and starting to come along.
Thanks, Dave. Baz, do you want to say hello?
Hi, everyone. I'm Sylvain Bezinet, call me Baz. Been carving for 25 years, actually 22 years teaching chip carving. And since COVID, I changed, put the chip carver knife aside and started on caricature and doing a few other things, trying out things. I'm also a member of the Oodaway Wood Carvers, and totally enjoyed the carving. And what a great thing this TNCC Zooms. We learned a lot from it. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thanks. Randy, I know your name is not Judy.
Yeah, I'm using my wife's computer. Anyway, yeah, so I'm Randy. I'm carving for about 30 years. Was the president of the Brooklyn Wood Carvers for, well, I think my 2-year term ended out being 20 years. But unfortunately, COVID killed our club. Just couldn't get the financing. Everything just was too expensive to run the club, and members weren't coming back. So I'm kind of came back here to try to get my mojo back. I haven't carved really too much in the last few years just because COVID just kind of demotivated me, and not seeing all the other carvers on a regular basis. They just sat around collecting dust. So I'm trying to get back into it.
No, it's good to have you here.
Thanks.
Randall, I see you there. Do you want to say hello, Randall?
Yeah, I've unmuted here. I have a little trouble with my camera. It's new to me. I'm retired. I'm a long-time woodworker, but carving is pretty new to me. I've been spending most of my time following Doug Linker around the internet lately, and I've been watching a few of the videos and meetings here, and it's quite interesting. So
Very
hopefully we'll get a little bit of involvement out of it.
Good. Well, welcome to the group. Jacques, do you want to say hello?
Sure. I would like to start by saying thank you for the invite. I've been a woodworker since a teenager, a little bit of a carving among the many other types of woodworking. And as I'm getting close to retirement, I want to do more carving, especially caricature. So that's why I wanted to join the team, the club, and learn more from you guys.
Good. Well, welcome to the group.
Thank you.
Karen, did you want to say a quick hello?
Yeah, I'm Karen from Fenland Falls, and I'm with the Fairview Baptist Church in Lindsay with Don Moore. I've been carving for, I guess, maybe 4 years now, but then kind of got a little bit behind with COVID, but I'm back in it, really enjoying it. I try to do caricatures, and I have done a few little animals, but
great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Karen.
Thanks.
And Zenon, I haven't seen you in a couple months. How have you been?
Very good, thank you. My name is Zenon Gavel, Kitchener-Waterloo. School break this week, so I canceled carving classes. I've been carving about 30 years, but I do mostly birds and ducks. Can I mention something about the show coming up?
Sure, go ahead.
We do have the Canadian National Carving Competition coming up in June, June the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. We think it's the biggest bird carving competition in Canada, maybe out west, something bigger. But like everybody said, finances are really hard on us. Just today I found out the hall rental for our place for the weekend is over $7,000. So I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to continue. Might this year and maybe next, but this was our project this year.
Very nice.
Little kinglets. And we also did antique ducks with Ken Hussey from Brantford. So anyway, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. I don't think I missed anyone. If I missed anyone, they could speak up right now and introduce themselves.
But did you talk to him?
No, I can't.
You can talk, the audio's on.
I didn't, Mark, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all, how are you? I'm trying to figure out my camera.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. I can listen to the meeting. We're just trying to, I haven't used this for a while.
Okay, that's fine. All right, well, thanks everybody for the introduction. Yeah.
Yeah, this is iPad. I finally got my, my system.
Okay, so just a reminder to everybody to mute out your devices right now so that we don't get any feedback, okay? And I'm going to go to share screen here. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to take a quick look at projects on the workbench. Furtis is going to very quickly talk about some knives that he had an opportunity to try out. Mike, you're going to extend our discussion on oil treatment to some extent, and then Murray and I are going to talk about the Quinty show. Those three things are going to happen pretty fast tonight, maybe 5 minutes apiece, because we want to give John a good half hour or more to talk about the introduction of our monthly project, and John will get back into that in a minute. But let's go fairly quickly so that John has plenty of time and talk a little bit about some of the carvings that you sent in for us to take a look at this month. This is what I had presented last month in terms of asking you to give folds and wrinkles a try in arms or sleeves. And we've seen we'll see some examples of that here tonight, and as well as examples right in the carvings that were produced. So Karen, why don't you talk for a minute about what you sent in here? You there, Karen?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know how to unmute.
Yeah.
I really like doing little caricatures, and so in our group I just started these from just like a block of wood, because I just was given a block of wood and thought I would just try and do something kind of like in the kid style instead of doing a bigger one. So
You did a really nice job. You really picked up on you picked up a lot of things that we've been talking about over the last number of months. So those look really nice, Karen.
Nice paint job.
Thank you.
Okay, Bob, you sent in a few. I've got a few slides here for you.
Yeah, these are just with basswood. There was a project we had at our East End Clutch. There were little monks, and we're doing some carving on them.
Nice.
Nice.
This is an angel bear that I did on my own. It's the lantern was supposed to be hanging on to him, but I carved the lantern about 3 times. It didn't turn out, so I had to put it on a staff.
That turned out okay.
Yeah. And this was an owl I did in basswood, just a relief carving. And wooden spoon, I just started a wooden spoon for the Irish with the shamrock and the hat. And the owl was a West End project. It was for a cane, not a cane, but a staff topper. And we just started it last Friday.
Those are really nice, Bob.
Busy guy.
Yeah, busy guy for sure. Mark, do you want to speak to this slide?
Sure. So these 4 carvings, I participated in an online carving class with Ryan Olson on flat plane carving, which is pretty new to me. You can see some of my other carvings in the background. I tend to like to round things out quite a bit. So it was a really different way of thinking about what are the major planes and how to structure it that way. one of the biggest things that I learned about was carving hands actually during this class. Trying to think about the major planes of the hand itself and the fingers and that type of thing. So that was really helpful.
Wow. Is the intent to take one slice and be done, or is it several slices that end up with that plane?
My technique is I sneak up on things quite a bit. So, you know, I don't take one big heavy cut out of something. So I tend to kind of sneak up on it, but I'm trying to be a little bit more deliberate with my cuts instead of doing really little ones to constantly sneak up on it. Like the carvings in the back, I really sort of sneak up on it quite a bit and then round out the different forms. But on this one, I was trying to do it a little bit more deliberate because the whole intent behind it is to try to get the ideas into wood a little bit faster than what you typically would. So it's almost like kind of like sketching with the wood itself than taking a longer time. So something with me, I tend to take a long time to do my carving. So I'm hoping this will kind of help me get some ideas into wood a little bit more before I kind of refine it at the next stage. So
I really like what you've done there. That's really interesting.
It shows you take your time, that's for sure.
Wayne.
Yes. That's the probably the first homework assignment that I've passed in the last 60 years. And probably the first one that I ever passed in ahead of the deadline.
And you had to outdo the teacher by painting plaid on it as well.
Yeah, couldn't help myself. I wanted to see what those colors would look like so I could put them on my next South Shore redneck, but it didn't turn out. I painted him a little different. So, but yeah, it was a real good practice exercise, I would say, and it makes you aware. I mean, I guess we all know that you're supposed to have wrinkles and creases, and folds, and all that, but when you sort of somebody says, well, you should do this, it makes it, I don't know, it brings it to the forefront a little better.
Oh, that's good. You did a nice job on it.
Oh yeah, and there is the next plaid job. This is one I finished up here this last couple of weeks, and he's just another South Shore redneck. His pogey's about to run out, so he's got to go cut some firewood before he goes looking for a job. So
really nice. Baz, I wasn't sure whether I put your final version in on our last Zoom call. I may have, I can't recall, but maybe you want to just speak to this.
So this is a project. I'm spending the winter months here in Florida, and there's a carving club. We get together every Monday. So at the beginning of the year, we did a little house, and that's my final project, final painted and all. So it was a lot of fun to do with the lake in front and so on. In the class, we did just a little house and a tree, and the moon is actually box elder that you sand. It turns out really nicely. So that's all done and final painted and all.
Really looks smart.
Thanks.
Now, Baz, I only put this one in because I put the other ones in under tips and tricks. So,
sure.
Okay.
It's a good idea. We'll come back to the other one later at the end. So this is a little nut hatch, a little bird I'm doing. I know it's not caricature, but that's what's on the workbench. And, you know, I really want to improve on my skill of cutting nicely round and doing things. And this is really pushing the envelope. I have a tendency to take a lot of wood, and this is really pushing my limit with the details and so on. But I'm totally enjoying this. So that's what I carve this month, this little nut hatch. And later we'll talk about another one I've been working on.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, Larry didn't quite understand the instructions about folds and wrinkles in the arms, and he took the arms right off.
That's right. Yeah, when you do a young girl with folds and wrinkles, it doesn't have the same effect. It makes her look a little older.
Got lots of wrinkles there, though.
This is my study piece as I'm getting ready to start doing more character lady carvings, but yeah, there wasn't many places with folds and wrinkles in this, but I did try. A lot of sanding.
Nice job, though.
Thank you.
Craig, do you want to speak to this?
Yeah, I just took your examples and made quick little carvings for them. basically copied what you did, Mark. And I enjoyed it. It looks like wrinkles.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said quick, Craig, because that's a real important point. It's not really hard. It doesn't take a lot of time to do wrinkles. You just got to think of, well, where are they going to go, and just make those valleys and hills, kind of, right? You did a really nice job. And then you sent this one. Is this short sleeve kind of a deal?
Yeah, this is for the people that don't want to make wrinkles. Just make a short sleeve. You're done.
Yeah. Yeah, but you did a nice job with that idea of the loops coming down here and whatnot. Really nice.
Thanks.
Now, John Paul had to send this one in to make us all feel bad.
Yeah, this right here is Billy the Kid. I did a lot of the wrinkles and shadowing on that one, and I was going to talk to that about the carving later, but yeah, this just I just finished this guy, Billy the Kid.
Yeah, beautiful job.
Thank you.
Eric?
Last year, one of the Illinois wood carvers passed on some wooden golf club heads and some small cutout heads of waterfowl. And I didn't do anything for a while until this year, but I didn't like the tiny little heads that she gave me. So I made some bigger heads there for the wood duck and the mallard drake. And it occurred to me recently, well, these are quite outsized heads, as you might have in the caricature. I didn't think of it that way when I was doing it, but anyway, this is how the True North character carving thing comes in here. That the heads are a little too big, especially for the mallard, and there are no wrinkles in there, no feathers really showing. But anyway, I enjoy doing those. I understand some years ago this was a fad, making these birds out of the wooden golf club heads. Thanks.
Really cute. Lee, do you want to speak to your carving?
Yeah, so this is a construction guy I made. I tried to do the folds and wrinkles in the arms and the pants, and I finished them off and gave them a little, some construction stuff and a nice little slow sign.
Nice. Now, Lee, in your email to me, you had sent a link where you have all of the process pictures of how you built this. Did you want to mention that to people so that they could?
Oh, I think that's just a Google Photos link. I'd have to open it up. But yeah, I could do that later.
Yeah, well, maybe you could send that to me again, and I can forward it to everybody if you like.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thanks, Lee. Now, Mike, you sent a couple of pictures. I think we did see this one last time, but we didn't get a look at this one, Mike. So maybe you want to talk of that.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's we're doing these rounding boards on the carousel, which are the parts that are facing the audience, as it were, as people are watching the carousel turn around. And there are artists in the city who are painting the scenes. You might recognize that one as Terry Fox. We have a monument here at the city. And this is just one of the 16 panels. So there are 32 dragons, as you see. The other one is a close-up. I was just so delighted with Linda Siskar, who is our painter, a club member in Thunder Bay. But she has painted every last thing on this carousel, hundreds and hundreds of pieces. And this cornucopia, which is on the chariot, the larger chariot that we did, I did this cornucopia and she painted it. And then there's a drop to the left side there, that green flowery looking thing with all of the little sections that go down. The funny thing about this is when you're reproducing a carousel that was built over 100 years ago, sometimes there are mysteries. And one mystery for us, and maybe someone here might have an idea, is those 5 items that are inside the cornucopia. We copied them exactly as they were historically, but we don't know what they are. So we just made them. She painted them that color, and we don't know what the heck they're supposed to be. But anyway, there they are, and that was fun. That's over a 3-foot long carving there. And the fun part of that chariot was we didn't have to follow historical accuracy too much. because the chariots that we had on the carousel were just flat painted and not carved. So we were able to create our own. A lot of fun. So yeah, that's a little update. And we continue to work on this out at Chippewa Park. Luckily, we have heated buildings, and we're attaching this. Someone asked at the last one, which I wasn't able to attend, how are they attaching these carvings? We're screwing through the back. That light blue color you see is a sheet of steel, and yes, sheet of steel. And we mark exactly where each piece has to go. For example, each dragon is 6 pieces, and so we drill through the back and then attach those. And everything has to be carefully waterproofed, because there may be a time before we have about $1.5 million set aside to make a building for this carousel, but we might need a little more money, and so this could be left outdoors. So we have to have everything very waterproof. So that's been a challenge too, and that means every piece you see is also painted on the backside, so so that it's sealed. It's been one heck of a project, but an awful lot of fun. Very unique, and this can be a once in a lifetime experience for all of our group. Thank you.
Very nice, Mike. What a project. Okay, and this is mine. So these are 2 little Easter gifts for my grandchildren, Ada on the left and Henry on the right. And I'm just getting ready to do the painting. I did try the oil process on this, so you can see the basswood's a little bit darker from the oil. So I'll be interested to see how that paints up. And following Larry's lead, this chick doesn't have any arms either. Okay, thank you for those great carvings. They're just beautiful. Thank you for sending those in. Curtis, would you talk to us about your experience with these knives?
Yeah. So these 2 knives that you see on the screen, they are deep holler knives. I bought these knives a couple of months back. The one on the top is a 2-inch rough out blade, and the one on the bottom is a 1.5 inch detail knife. I started looking at these like on Instagram and Facebook. I saw them being posted by Deep Holler Knives, so I wanted to try them out, and I bought these from Chipping Away. Each knife is $45, and I found them really nice. The handle grip is pretty good. They fit really well in my hands. Very comfortable. The blade, the steel is very nice, very sharp. The profile is thin. It's flexible blade. The only thing I would caution everybody is that it's very sharp and thin. So the second knife, I did break the tip because I was not careful. But I was able to fix it with the stones that I have. I redid the tip and it was sharp again. So I really enjoy working with them. They're very sharp, but the only thing that I would caution everybody, if you plan to buy these, is that just be careful. The tips are flexible, so easy to break. But if you are careful, then they should be good. And I've seen a lot of people using them these days.
Do you know where they're made, Curtis?
Somewhere in the US. I'm not sure exactly, but somewhere in the US. A pretty good knife. They come in different types of handles. So I liked this one when I was at Chipping Away, and I bought these 2.
Very nice. Any questions for Firdaus? Okay, thanks very much.
I just think that we use the word holler. It's probably somewhere deep south in the East Coast.
Maybe. Mike, you've done a little bit of experimenting with oils, and so just picking up on our last conversation that Firdaus led for us, why don't you just kind of touch on what you've learned about these oils?
Okay, so I first ran across the Terra Nova oil, the natural oil, through Kevin Coates out in the East Coast there about 2 years ago. I noticed he had a bottle on his carving table there, and I sent him a note asking him about it. The reason being is I was looking to get away from the boiled linseed oil and the hazards and the smell and things like that. And because The Terra Nova oil is a mineral oil. It's 100% mineral oil. It's pretty safe. It's not going to catch fire, and it's not going to smell terribly, and it's obviously food safe as well. So then I started looking at, well, what else is available out there? Because the Terra Nova oil is around $12 a bottle at Home Hardware. And then I went to Canadian Tire, got to trust Canadian Tire, they'll have everything, right? And I got the Paderno oil there, and it was $8. And the volume size is pretty close. In fact, those two bottles are identical in the volume. So if you don't want to spend your $12, you go to Canadian Tire, you spend $8. The other one is if you've seen some of the Howard's products, the feed and wax, well, they also do a butcher block oil, and this is 12 fluid ounces. So I don't know what that crosses over into milliliters. Well, maybe it's right there. It's three something. And it's about $15. I think that's the best bang for your buck if you're going to buy the mineral oil in that process. The only thing I'll say is that the cutting board oils are very thin, so they go on almost like water, which is really nice because they go on, they absorb into the wood nicely. Kevin says he puts the stuff on and he wipes off any excess, and then he's painting in about 10 minutes. So he paints right on it wet. I did try the regular mineral oil, and the viscosity on it is like 3 times the viscosity of the butcher block oil. It works, but you're going to wait 2 days for it to dry. And but I've been using between the Paderno and the Terra Nova oil, I've been using those two, and I haven't had any negative results. I know one of the fellows who's on here tonight is Dave Wilson. I know he might have tried some of the oils as well, and I think he ran into a problem with it. So I don't know if he wants to comment on that. And what did you think, Mark, when you tried it on your carvings?
Yeah, it's exactly how you described it. Soaked in immediately, and it was a butcher block oil. It was called Booze Block, and BOS block. And it's soaked in immediately, dried overnight kind of thing. It's ready to paint. I haven't gotten around to painting on it yet, but what I found is because I did a little bit of stoning on the little animals that I did for Easter, typically I would have expected the wood to fuzz up a little bit, and once I put the oil on, it all went away. So it made a very smooth surface for me. I expect that when I paint it, it's going to look quite nice. We'll see.
Oh, very good. So I've pretty much moved away from the boiled linseed oil. I can't see a purpose for what I do. But anyway, that's been my experience there.
Okay, that's great.
Hope everybody else gives it a try and see what they think.
Anybody have anything to add to Mike's discussion here? Okay, thank you very much, Mike.
Yeah.
Murray, are you there?
I'm right here. Yep.
Yeah, why don't you talk a little bit about the upcoming show?
We're excited to see and be a part of this Quinty show coming up in Belleville. And we'll have a table for our True North Caricature Carvers, which is going to be manned by hopefully Carvers, people that come along and be a part of that. That'll be beside the OWCA table.
Well, just on that point, Murray. So Belleville's only about 40 minutes from Kingston. So I know Roger is going to be joining me from this group. I think Fred is also going to be joining me. Fred's just back from the vacation. I haven't had a chance to talk to him, but I think he'll join me as well. So we'll have a good representation there.
Right, we have signage ready for you, and our OWCA is going to be paying for the table. It'll be right beside the table where I'm working at with my carvings and so on. We'll be together.
Good. And I guess we just extend the invitation to anybody else to join us. I know that many of you are in the Toronto and the Ottawa areas. You're probably 2 hours plus away from Belleville, and it is just a one-day show, so it's a lot of driving one day. But if you're up for the drive, boy, we'd sure like to see you out there, and we'll have a seat for you and a place for you on the table to show your.
What's the date, Mark?
carvings.
What's the date? What's the
April
date of the show,
15th.
Mark?
April 15th, Saturday, April 15th. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Marie. Okay, and so I will stop the screen share, and I probably never not be able to get back into it again. We'll see. And John, we'll send it over to you, and you can introduce the idea of the monthly project and take us from there.
Okay, right on. Okay, like last month, we had the monthly challenge was the sleeve and do the wrinkles. So you can still do it again. You still have another month to do it. But this month, I'm going to challenge everybody to do a boot. Do different boots, different styles. If you want, I'll send the patterns. Everybody can have a pattern. And it's made out of 1 inch lumber. It's 1 inch thick lumber. It's probably 3 inches tall, maybe the cowboy boots. But it's all it is practicing the wrinkles. Like if it's the boot is stepping up, you're going forward. All the different movement in that boot, and the loafer, whatever. And even if your boot is standing by itself and straight up and down, you still have a lot of folds and wrinkles in a boot. So like I have one, it's the wife's boot. When you step forward, all these wrinkles, it shows a lot of movement. Even if it's standing up straight like that, there's a lot of wrinkles and folds. So if you got a cowboy boot or whatever boot you're doing, have a look at one. Have a look at all the folds and how everything is situated. And you know, up here, you have a bunch of folds and stuff, right? So even if you do a stationary figure like Billy the Kid here, by doing all these folds, it brings in movement. Even if it's a stagnant figure, you have all the folds and the wrinkles in the arm. It brings movement into your carving. So, so that's what I want to show everybody. So this month, for next month, I want everybody to try doing some boots, different. It doesn't have to be a moccasin, or it doesn't have to be this, whatever. But do any type of boot you want. But if you want, I have patterns. Like I'll email you the pattern, and we'll take a look at them next month and go through it. And this way you have a go by. So next time you do a carving, you can have all these carvings sitting there and all these little the wrinkles, and then it reminds you, oh yeah, this is how I did that. That's how that's done, right? So eventually every month we'll have, like last month we did the arms. This month's the boots. Maybe the next month we'll do hands, and you'll have a whole bunch of go-bys. You know, you have a bunch of stuff that you can go by and remind you what everything looks like, and all the different planes and all the different facets that you're going to be carving. And I'm working on this guy right now. This is a skater, and his leg is bent. And see all the folds and facets up. So still, I just started, but even a straight leg, you have a lot of facets, a lot of folds, even on a straight leg. His leg is skating. This one's skating. This will be up in the air. But so I want to show you. This is the cowboy boot that I'm doing, and then let's do one. A quick little carving. What I do, I always put a center line in. And I put a center line up the side of the boot. So anything like this boot, I'll put a center line, and I'll put a center line here. So now that line from there to there, I want to round that off to there. This is the bottom of the boot's pretty flat. From here to there is, I want to touch that. I want to be able to touch that around, take that corner right off on both sides and in the back. So let's do that real quick here. And as soon as I hit that center line, then I know it's fairly round. It's fairly rounded off, right? Compared to this side. So that's going to carry on here. I have a sharp knife. And depending on what's, if it's a right foot or a left foot, you have the instep of your shoe. So this is be the inside of my boot. So I'm going to carve that in. This is my little handle. I hold on to that I made. So I'm not holding on to the carving, I'm holding on to the handle.
John Paul, sorry to interrupt you, but that was it's Larry here. The holder that you have there, I was going to ask Mark Sheridan about that. And because rather than trying to hold these little pieces, can you explain this for 2/2 a second, a bit about that holder? Because I'm quite interested in how you do that.
Yeah, I just, you can use a little dowel. I just turn this on the lathe and I put a screw, like I cut the head off the screw, and I put it into the dowel or the little carving or the turning, and then I glued it in. And I do that for everything. I do all that. I have a big one for the clay models. I do all the heads with this one. I have several of them. And especially when you're painting, you want to paint something, you don't want your hand on the carving. Just have it on the little stick here and you can paint. You don't have to worry about it and set it down.
Thank you very much. That's very helpful.
Yeah, and just put a little screw. You can use like a dowel, 1-inch dowel or 3/4 inch dowel. It doesn't have to be turned. I just turn it because I got a lathe. But and you hold it, and it's off your hand. Like I do it like for the kids and stuff, especially with the kids. And if I want to put it towards my chest, I can, like this. I can hold it. It's not. My hand's not here. My hand's down here. Well, this one's probably about, you can tell, it's probably about 25 years old. So anyway, so let's go through this real quick. What you want to do is you want to get the basic shape of the boot. Like, don't worry about, like a lot of people do is they start into detail, like right now. Forget about the detail. You want all the shape. You want a rough out shape.
Now, while John's doing that, I'll just kind of emphasize, like John's, he's watching pretty closely the direction of the grain here so that he doesn't go against the grain, because especially on a little piece like that, you could split the thing off in no time at all, right, John?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I just split that, so I'm going to turn that around because it opened up a little bit right now. Because I'm at the beginning, I don't mind it because it's taking a big chunk off. But if I was getting too close to the line, I want to make sure, because I don't want to take a big chunk off again. So yeah, you get the basic shape of this boot. Get that corner. So all from that line to that line, I want to bring it down. And just like this, just a little scrap piece of wood. See, this was a little against the grain here, so I'm going to flip that around. And don't worry about detail until we got the shape what you want, get all the facets in. And don't worry about detail at all. Once you're happy with the shape, then you work on the detail. I know the cow, right where the heel is of a cowboy boot, it goes in a bit, so I'm gonna dig that out a bit. I don't want to, it's not a stovepipe. I don't want a stovepipe boot. I want some shape, I want some detail in there. Like this is the time to do it. This is the time to get the before the detail, get the shape that you want, the exact shape. And it flares out, the cowboy boot flares out the top. The heel goes in a bit at the back. So now I'm going to take it off the hole here because I want to cut in the side. So this was the inside of the boot or that side. You want it, if you look at your shoe, your own shoe, like this, it goes in on your inside of your shoe and it's out on the outside of your shoe. So that's why I put that on the pattern. So we're gonna make it a right-hand boot, I guess. So I'm gonna dig that in. And it's pretty close to where I want to be. I'm happy with all this, the shape. It's narrow, maybe a little bit over here more. Okay. So now, now I want to put detail. I'm not worried about, well, I mean, I should clean the top here. And if you want to use it as a go by, or you can make a little Christmas ornament out of it. Paint it all up. Back on the handle. Now, I want to put a heel on, so I'm going to draw a line here. And the sole of the boot. And we put you put any design you want. You put a little, I'll put a toe on it maybe. You put some like wife's boot. Got some a little thing here. Maybe I put a nail, like on this one I did. I put a nail, brass nail on the strap. We can do the same. And maybe we'll do a design. And that's basically it there. And then now I'll take my other knife. I'll just trace that over those lines with my little detail knife. I'm doing it fast for the show, but you can take your time and learn. And put some, well, I'll be putting the wrinkles in a minute. But look at different boots at your door, you know, just look at different shoes and then get somebody to put them on and see how the wrinkles and folds. And now it just matter of cleaning that up. The little cuts. Going back. Little stop cuts all around. Now that I put that stop cut in, I just go around and clean that up. Any questions? Anybody got any questions? This must be mesmerizing everybody.
This is Richard.
Yeah, hi, Rich.
I have a little comment I'd like to make.
Yeah, no problem.
You have a significant guard on your thumb.
Yeah.
I took my I've had some medical problems and my daughter's forced me to get a cell phone. So I took it into the Carvers today and showed them that, hey, really, I can take a picture with this thing now. I'm progressing. And they were saying, well, just be very careful. But mine isn't a really fancy one. But it's two guys have got fancy ones that they open theirs with their thumbprint.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, one guy uses scalpels because he refuses to sharpen anything.
Yeah,
And
yeah, Bob.
He has to change his password on his cell phone about every 4 or 5 weeks, because with the scalpel, he makes little cuts on his thumb.
Okay.
And then the thumbprint won't read it. So he has to go back in and do the numbers and start all over again. Thank goodness I don't have an expensive cell phone, that kind of thing. But I noticed you significantly cover up your thumb. I thought that might just be a little aside for people to hear.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know that guy, Bob.
Yeah, he does phenomenal stuff with the scalpel. I'm in awe watching him work away on stuff, but he has his own way of doing things.
He was in the London club there on Tuesday.
Yeah, I've still got to find out all about that someday, but
well, ask Bob.
Yeah. Okay, I'm mooting out.
Okay.
Is it Bob? Do you use a V tool for the sole or anything?
No, I don't. I just use knives. I could never get the hang of sharpening the damn thing. So I never. I got one there, but I don't think it's dull. I never. I just use knives.
The other thing that I found, John, is that sometimes a V tool leaves a pretty wide valley. That
Yeah.
You really don't want that. You want something a little bit narrower and deeper.
Mm-hmm.
I guess this is a question for both of you. I have done some caricatures. I meant not without total supervision that much. I've took about 5 or 6 courses at Eldon Humphrey's home years ago, and I noticed that you both do the burning on your creases. But Mark, I don't remember seeing that on your previous carvings that you used to do. But I noticed that you did it on your Easter Bunny.
Yeah, what I've found is, the burning helps me a lot, especially if there's an area that I've been trying to cut into end grain and you can't get it all. The burning will burn those little tiny fibers out, just the hair-like fibers that you just can't seem to cut out.
Yeah.
When I do use a wood burner on one of my caricatures, not on these little Easter things that I did quickly, but on a caricature, I'll be very careful to use a very low temperature, because what I found is that if I use too high a temperature, the burn is it's so deep and wide, because you're burning the wood, you've pretty much eliminated the nice fine cut you've made, like John's making with these stop cuts, the V cuts. You put a burn in there and all of a sudden it's rounded the whole darn thing out. So when I do use the wood burning tool, for my caricatures, it's a very low setting, and it's just to get those little fibers out. The other thing that we've talked about is that prior to the painting process, by using the wood burner, you make enough of a valley there so that when you paint, the thin acrylic paint will only go as far as that valley, and so it's a nice way to kind of cheat on your carving, a nice straight line.
Yeah, it was just more of not seeing the big dark lines. I know some of the caricature carvers like that look. It's always to each their own, but like I say, I don't remember seeing that on any of your carvings that I've seen before. And I know Eldon definitely wood burners and sandpaper was a big no-no. You never pulled one of those things out in his courses.
I belonged to Brooklyn Wood Carvers about 30 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was at the Legion. I think it was at the Legion.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we fortunately, like I say, COVID killed the cat. It's
they still live in Halls Road.
Oh, okay. Well, have you been there in the last 30 years?
No.
You probably drive by and not even know it's what it's like.
Yeah.
Even when I started with the Brooklyn Club 20 years ago, I mean, even just because I don't live in Brooklyn, the funny part was we had sometimes up to 45 members. Not one person lived in Brooklyn, not one. Then we got down to 15 people, and then we had 2 people who lived in Brooklyn. And then, like I say, we tried to start up this year, but the town wasn't going to give us any break on the rent, and for what they wanted, and the amount of members that would commit to coming back. And as a lot of clubs have found out, for some reason, in the last 5 years, the new people just don't want, unless we get an app for carving, it's just hard to get them to join. Now, we were lucky enough that we had Lloyd, who's on the screen there. He brought in a lot of younger people to our club to teach them carving.
Nice.
And that was, I mean, every club really needs one of those, but it's hard to find somebody who's willing to do that kind of thing. Myself, I mean, I'm not retired yet, so I don't have as much time as some people do, and I don't know if I'd have the patience like Murray or Lloyd does. But Just take in mind, guys, and girls, I'm also I run a Facebook page, Wood Carving 101, The Joy of Wood Carving. And we have
Nice.
about 7,500 members. If you ever want to leave a link or, post your pictures, or Murray, I know you belong to our Facebook page, to get that Quinty, because I don't think nobody's posted anything on the Facebook page about the Quinty show yet. It's probably a good idea because there's like I say, with 7,500 members, there's a lot from Ontario on there. It's called Wood Carving 101, The Love of Wood Carving.
Nice. Thank you.
No problem. I'll let you get back to it.
John, why don't you just stop carving for a minute and just hold that up, because you're moving it pretty quickly and people might want to just see where you are on it and what you're doing.
Just about to put the folds in. Just going to put the bootstraps in. And now, looking at this boot here, I'm looking at all the wrinkles in here and in here, they go around like that, and in here. So I'm gonna just, let's copy that. I'm just gonna put a few little wrinkles in. And there's some over here. It really gives it movement. Like, it looks like it's like a real boot. So there's wrinkles down in here. So and a lot of people just do like the legs on one side. There's all kinds of stuff on the inside of that boot too that is going. So if you're doing a leg, don't forget to do the inside of the leg. And there's wrinkles up in here. We'll put a wrinkle here. It's a bit of an angle.
Is that a two-sided blade you're using?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Just couldn't see it. It almost looked like there was two-sided. Okay, thanks.
No problem. And there's some up here. I always like going like this. And I put one over here. Like that. You'll see that it's here. And there's a hump in the middle here. So like that, right? There's more up the back here. A couple more here.
John, maybe you can just kind of show people how you progress there, and like we'll cut it off in 60 seconds and
Okay.
and give them, that project to work on, or one of the
Okay.
shoes, like you said.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm done on one side. I'll just do this side. So now I'm looking on this side here and a couple in here. So I'll do little ones here. But I would normally go right around and do all that boot. And this goes that. So there's this month's challenge. Let's everybody do some boots or shoes, and grab a boot out of your front hallway there and and try to carve it. And it's simple little projects, and it's just 1 inch thick, and you can do a whole bunch. Here's the 6 steps of carving a boot.
John Paul, and it'd be good for us to take a photograph also of the boot that we carved and show the one that we carved from.
Right, for sure. But yeah, everybody, that's our monthly challenge. Let's get to this. Everybody does this, and then we'll have a bunch of go-bys. Well, you can't put this on a carving. You might be able to put it on a carving, but you don't have to, and just set it aside. Put it on your bench. And then when you start carving a caricature, you go, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember doing this, remember doing that. And then just practice and practice.
That's really good, John. Thank you very much for that. Well done.
Thank you. Any questions?
I do have one question. I noticed that the knife that he's using doesn't seem to be typical of what most of us are using. Most of us, the sharp edge is the straight edge. And it appears that you're using the curved blade. Does that make a difference for being able to do, say, those folds? If you use the straight blade as opposed to that curved sharp edge?
Well, this used to be a straight one. I wore it down. This is worn down. It's like this one is a lot bigger at one time, but these are Helvey knives. They're really, I love these two. This is a Dwayne Gosnell, 2-weight Dwayne Gosnell knives. But yeah, this was pretty straight at one time. It was a lot less curved on it. But it's working for me, and I can get in some little points there, with that point, right?
To Mike's
I would
point,
suggest
though,
No,
sorry,
go ahead.
John, I was just going to say, to Mike's point, there are some carvings that do use a blade. They buy a blade just like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like you, I've not gone out and purchased a blade like that, but some people swear by it. So
Yeah, it works. It helps. Like I can get a little tiny, divots and stuff. So, but I would highly recommend everybody get a little dowel. You can get a piece of dowel, 1-inch dowel, and put your hand over here, not over here. You hold it like that. Your finger, I can hold like this. Use my thumb to push on the blade. So
very good.
That's my spiel.
Thank you, John. Okay, I'm going to go back to our little presentation here. Baz, you've sent in a couple slides here. I wouldn't mind having you talk about it for a few minutes.
Sure. So basically, I was doing my other project is a sandpiper, and I'm doing a what we call a smoothie, which is strictly a smooth bird without feathers that are carved. And I'll be using painting to actually paint the bird and to really improve on my painting techniques. This is why I'm doing this. But when I carved the bird, I had run into a little problem with the beak, the way the head came to the beak. And I bought these 2 epoxies. And that's a picture of the epoxy that I put on. It's a wonderful epoxy. It's made for carvers, actually. I think, because I bought it at a carving place here in the US called MDI, Wood Carving Supplies. And it's a 2-part epoxy, but you have 3 to 4 hours to actually work and shape and the actual epoxy. And you put a bit of water and you can really shape it really nicely. And it's a 2-part, but after 24 hours, it's really well set. And what happens is you can actually sand it or use the Dremel and things like that. But it allowed me to on the right side you have the without the epoxy, and then the left side has the epoxy, and it worked really well. It did a really nice job on this. So
I'll put this slide up again just so that people are looking to see any details
Yeah.
on that, they can write it down.
Yes, yes. So I thought it would be a good trick because sometimes you'll be doing a caricature carving and you'll be putting a certain object in your caricature and you do a little faux pas and you took too much wood or something, but you don't want to start all over. So you just use a little epoxy because we are painting our caricature. The epoxy will go away and it'll be under the wood, by the wood or whatever. I think it's a great trick to use. It's used because you use that epoxy also to set the actual glass eyes of the bird on the bird, but it has some application to the caricature. That's why I said that to you.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions for Baz?
Is that available in Canada?
I don't know if it's available in Canada. The reason I said it's in the US is because I'm here in the US at this point in time. But I'm sure the exact thing can be get in Canada. I didn't look for it in Canada. But there's also what's called quick wood that you can get in Canada, but that dries really quickly in 10 minutes. What I like about this epoxy is it dried in 3 hours, so you can actually shape it and work with it. And it is finally cure after 24 hours, but you have the time to work with it. So if you take the name, you might want to explore. It possibly is available in Canada. So, or other brands too. You just look for an epoxy that will dry in 2 to 3 hours, and you'll probably get the same results.
It is available at Amazon. Pretty pricey though, but I'm sure you
Yeah.
can find it somewhere else.
I think this one was about 20 Serge, but 20 US,
Yeah.
right?
It starts at $69.99.
Wow, wow,
Yeah.
wow.
When my daughter had the business Carve It Up, we didn't carry that because it was expensive. It was expensive to bring it from the States, but I know before her, they had it. And a lot of the bird carvers went to the States to the ward and they bought it there. So.
Okay.
Maybe you want to fill up your trunk before you come home.
Yeah, his RV, fill up the RV.
Yeah, put the RV.
Both the RV.
Pay for your trip.
Send me the orders.
A question. It's Eric here.
Yeah, Eric.
Baz, looking at your bird after you had finished molding it and everything, it looked as if you sanded it and you blended in with the wood. Is it that kind of a pale basswood color when it's sanded?
No. The gray color is the actual epoxy, and I used water, and I put some rubber gloves on, and I use water, and I just push it gently, and it blend into the basswood, nice and smooth.
I'm thinking in terms of the color. The color on your finished bird there looked the same, both the epoxy part and your wood.
Eric, I think I probably reversed these. I think
reverse.
So this was the first, and then this
Without
is when he had
epoxy.
applied it. So I think that might be
I
the
see.
confusion. Yeah.
So the epoxy is actually gray, and that epoxy actually comes in several colors, but I just use the natural one, which is gray.
So when you do end up painting it afterwards, do you end up putting a base coat over your entire carving?
Yeah,
to make sure that it's
so
uniform.
Yeah, so what's going to happen, and that's where my bird stands right now. So the idea is I will put a sealer on the bird, then I'll put some gesso, which is white. And after the gesso, we'll start the actual painting in the smoothie. So I believe that this epoxy will disappear.
Very
Stay
good.
tuned. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Very good.
Yeah.
We'll be back next month with a result.
Yes, we'll try to give you that next one.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. That was a really good Zoom meeting. Everybody that presented had some really interesting things to say. The carvings that each of you sent in are just terrific, I think. So keep working away at these things. They're just looking great. If you're able to get to Belleville, and join us for that show. It'd be terrific to see some of you. We do have the table, and it'd be great to have a small crowd grouped around that table with our carvings. So thank you very much, and good luck with the boot project, and we'll take a look at that next time for sure.
Yeah, send me your email and I'll send you a pattern.
There you go.